everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always great each month as we get a chance to go through some of these great tools that we have as a company. And over the last year, 2020, our most imaginative year ever, we have added some new tools, just done some upgrading and enhancements to some of the things that you have. And because of that, we wanted to share that with you this morning, kind of in lump sum. We've sent out lots of marketing minutes about different things, and but we wanted to give you a chance to really have some Q&A and just kind of see us demonstrate some of these things for you. So for about the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to cover these items, what's new with our sites. At this time, I'm going to hand off to our digital administrator with our marketing team, Kristen Fredericks. She's got... She looks like a Ralston on the screen, but she's going to share with you lots that we have to cover today. Thanks, Kristen. All yours.
All right, thank you so much. So all of the Isle of Wight County kids are back working virtual, and our internet is a little slow today. So if it gets a little blurry, Ralston has agreed to navigate and take over for me. So hopefully we'll be okay, but just give us a little bit of patience if my internet seems a little weird today. All right, so we have introduced all sorts of new things in 2020 in response to COVID. With our websites. We started out the year, of course, with Paradigm and doing a lot of virtual tours and a lot of videos, connecting those automatically to every single one of our company listings. We've really focused on our home valuation tools and how much your home is worth in the market we had with, and we still have, with needing listings. We've really focused on trying to make our websites as consumer friendly as possible, and giving you guys and people the tools that they needed while they were staying home, while everything was virtual, while our real estate market was crazy, and our world was upended at the same time. We are actually going to continue all of those programs through 2021. So all of our virtual products are going to stay there. People have gotten really used to looking at everything online, going to websites to get more information before they even step into something physically. Definitely initiating deeper contacts and deeper conversations online than they ever have before. One of the things that we've seen is the trend of people handing over more information up front than they ever have before. And a lot of it is because they've just become so accustomed that everything is now virtual. So that being said, some of the tools that we've introduced in late 2020 and that we're going to continue to support and expand on in 2021 have to do with really putting your best foot forward on the internet and making those connections and making those, making those deep connections with your clients, and also making sure that you have one of the best sites out there, especially locally for a real estate agent. All right, so I'm going to get right into a couple of the new enhancements that we've talked about just in the last couple of weeks. Probably the first thing you've seen that was kind of really cool, we introduced 2 new collections for our website designs, and it's a total of 11 new templates. But you have to remember that every single time we offer a new template, those templates can be used in lots and lots of different ways. One of our top agents in the company actually uses one of our rural land and farms templates, but they've redesigned it and reimagined it in such a way by changing the photos and changing the colors that it's a beautiful luxury site, and you would never know that it was labeled as one of our rural and land and farm sites, because all of our templates are customizable. So one of the first collections that we introduced was what we call the American Rustic. So the American Rustic was a response to really the farmhouse style, but it doesn't necessarily have to be used that way. So I wanted to show you 2 sites this morning that feature American Rustic. You'll notice that the one big thing that's changed is you're now allowed to have video backgrounds. So right now, these are only available on the American Rustic templates, but we expect to see all future templates also be able to support video. So these videos that are on here happen to come from YouTube. So they're not embedded directly on your site. You know, one of the things we've talked about in a lot of training is site speed. We've talked about not bogging down your site. We've talked about making sure that things are really fast. So when the consumer comes on, that they receive the information they want without a site loading and loading and loading. We've been able to accomplish this video by grabbing it from YouTube. So all this video is actually hosted on YouTube, and it's just shown on the website. So when it pulls up, it's super fast. So this happens to be Ralston's page, and he is focusing on all of the BHHS commercials that are available. They run in a loop. They never stop. They just keep loading and loading and loading. And as long as somebody is sitting on this page, they're going to see something new. There's about 6 minutes of video here. I want to scroll down so that you can see some of the new features that we've made too. We've made everything super clean in these 2 new collections. I'm going to show you the Waterfront Collection after this. Really clean and boxy. This is really modern. This is stuff that you would see in an interior design in a home as much as you would see on a website. Part of the new collections also include these new callouts. Now, for those of you who are on some of our original collections, you'll remember that when you're doing your callouts or your calls to action, that you had a drop-down list to choose from. Well, we realized that so many people work their businesses in different ways, and they need to be able to create their own custom callouts. So these 4 buttons right here were made specifically for Ralston and Ralston's site. He chose to have the home value report, to visit open houses, to have the property watch, and to have the luxury home collection. We have other agents who are now using this custom call to action to do the home value report, do a visit a neighborhood landing page, send them a contact. And then also, view a luxury home collection or view a very specific set of photos, view all condos in a specific area. These calls to action, including the buttons down here, are completely customizable now. And again, this is in our first 2 collections, and we're actually going back to some of our original ones and installing these custom callouts as well, and you'll see this coming forward. And one of the big requests that we had from a lot of people was make sure that we have more collections where my photo is on the front. And we have done that with most of these collections to make sure you have a nice big elevator pitch bio area. Hopefully you guys all saw my marketing minute that came out earlier this week. We talked about those new bio pages, and in there, one of the tips was make sure you have a short bio and a long bio. And this is the perfect place for that little elevator pitch bio right on your front screen, just to introduce people to you. I wanted to show you how someone else in our company has used one of these new American rustic designs. It happens to be on the same template. So the design itself is the same as far as the layout is concerned, but they've used it in a very different way. So this is Daniel Parrish, and he had a YouTube video. And he decided to create a montage of some of the aerials that had been taken for some of his listings, and also some of just the highlights of some of his homes that he's had this year. So he had his photographer do obviously some aerial here of the beach, and here's the Cavalier. These are just little snippets from all of his different videos. This happens to be one of his listings. And he's done this to make it hyper local. So instead of using the BHHS commercials, he's done something very local. This is really easy to do if you've worked with any of our videographers. If you've done any aerial photography, you can even use one of the Paradigm videos. We've talked about those in the past. All of our Paradigm videos are loaded to YouTube. And if you wanted to have a playlist of all of your listings to play in the background, you can certainly do that as well. So I wanted you to see what that would look like with somebody who has just have used it in a slightly different way. So I wanted to show you this. So when Daniel did his, one of the things that he did was a follow us. Remember I said these could be completely customized now. So he's focusing on sending people directly to his social media. In this case, he has a very big Instagram presence, and he is pushing people right off to his Instagram. This is a custom call out for him. It's just Daniel's Instagram page, very active there, and he wants to direct people over there. So there's an interesting way to go ahead and use that custom call out. So let me show you where you can find these new designs. I'm going to go back over to Town Central, okay, and I'm going to go to Site Builder, and I'm going to go to Collections, and then Layouts. All right, this is where you can find all of the different layouts that you have available to you. We have them all grouped by the different types over here, but please remember I said that you don't have to have a waterfront presence or be working waterfront in order to use a waterfront template. You can use these in any way, shape, or form. When you're looking at these templates, this is just the layout. So when you're looking at something like the Monterey, which happens to be in our Waterfront Collection, where the logo is at the top will be where the logo is on your design, where that quote is in the middle, where the search is. Those are things that don't change. What can change, however, are the colors. So you don't have to have that aqua color there. You can always change it to Cabernet or gray or black or cream, whatever you'd like to use. And you can change that photo in the background. That photo can be one of your listings. It can be a beautiful interior scene. It can be anything you can imagine it can be for that background photo. So you've automatically changed that waterfront collection to something completely different and made it yours. That's how we can have this many templates, but have millions of design options because everybody can look differently based on how they use these templates. You'll notice some new things when you hover over to see what is available on each one of those templates. So if it has a hero video background available, you'll see that say that right here, hero background video. If you don't see that, it's not one of the video enabled templates yet. And then you'll also see, remember I said we had those new custom callouts. So here's where it says that the 4 custom calls to action. That means that you're able to design those custom calls to action to be anything you'd like them to be. So I wanted to preview just a couple of these new templates for you in both the Waterfront and the American Rustic design so you can see how they look. So we're looking at what they call the Gaskell here. This is the one that I just showed you that Ralston is already on. Nice and clean. It's going to show you all of your different things, your different call out buttons that you have available to you. I'm going to sort this just so that it's American Rustic to make my life a little easier here. But we're talking nice and minimalist, clean, big, bold designs that look fabulous on mobile and on tablet and of course on desktop. We're looking at these on desktop today. But here's how you can see we have these call outs that are brand new. They can be completely customized. And you can see how all the different callouts, you can definitely make these very personal to you on here. Here's one called the Santa Fe Sun. We certainly don't have to use the Santa Fe design in here. I'll be headed to Santa Fe in October, so I'll be interested to see if it actually looks like this when I head out there. But you could make these community links, you can make them tools, you can make them go off to lead pages, you can make them go off to whatever you'd like to lead for them. The only thing you don't see in here on the preview are your featured properties. Just because that setting is personal to you. So I wanted to show you those new designs that we have. Those are the new American Rustic. The other set that we released was the Waterfront. Now, I've had several agents who decided to go over to the Waterfront and leave them Waterfront because they work, obviously, our oceanfront and water and bay areas, but others are designing them for different reasons. This was probably one of the more interesting ones that we released, and it was something that was kind of a bit more mathematical, I'd like to say. Lots of boxes within boxes. So this is the first time we've actually used what we call a 2-column setup. So we have things that are side by side. And this, again, looks fine in mobile. It stacks in mobile. So you don't have to worry about it looking weird on somebody's cell phone. So we have all of these things and a nice, huge get to know us. For those of you who have done professional photos and you have those big Eric Lusher photos of you in a living room or you in front of a home, that's a great place for this. Notice that the background on this one stays static behind it. And everything scrolls on top. That was also a new feature for us. So the designs are getting more and more elaborate, but yet more simple at the same time. They definitely look really professional, and you guys can design them any way you'd like. I'm going to go and show you one of those new features just because it's been really popular with us, and that's that hide and show feature that I mentioned. So Ralston actually has this enabled on one of his websites here. So I'm actually going to go to Site Builder and then Collection and then Site Editor. And I wanted to show you this. So, okay, here's the Gaskell, the site that he's on. All right. And maybe we want to hide one of these sections because we don't want to use it for whatever reason. This happens to be a nice, simple website. There's obviously stuff you can put on here, but if you wanted to hide a section for whatever reason, you can. maybe we'll hide these calls to action for the time being, just because we're not ready to do them. We still need to get a couple pages ready, or we need to, find just the right images. But we want to switch to this website, but we don't want this section yet because we're not ready to show it. We can actually hide things super easy. I'm just going to go over that home page tab. And remember, everything on the home page is right in a row. So we start out with the hero, which is that just a fancy word for that big image in the back. And then we have the video settings. We have the featured properties. We can change what our featured property settings are. We have the testimonial, and all the boxes just go right in a row. So I'm actually going to hide this testimonial because it's a single item that we can hide here. Maybe we want to hide the testimonial. We don't have one yet. We want to replace it with something new. If I go to that testimonial section, notice that we have this new button here, hide. If I just click that, it's going to hide that section on the website and move everything up. So if I go ahead and publish this with the changes in it, and I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this here. All right. You'll notice that it looks nice and clean. Everything looks fine. And all it did was hide that testimonial section. Nobody can see it. And then you can go ahead and put it on when you're ready. So this works for all of our templates that are new in the Waterfront and the American Rustic Collection. So you are able to hide sections that you aren't ready to use or you would like to redesign, or even if you just want to clean up your homepage and not have quite as much. One of the things that we heard is, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can come up with 6 callouts. That's okay. If you can only come up with 3 and that's all you want to see on there, you can just hide the others. No big deal at all. Okay. All right, so I wanted to show you those hide and show features, but now I want to show you some of our new stock image libraries. So Ralston has a video on here, but here's an interesting thing about this. I wanted you to see that you had both the option to have a hero image and a hero video. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. One, say you like the Gaskell layout, but you don't want a video in the background. That's okay. You don't have to have one. The nice thing about those new hide and show features, if I just hit hide, it's going to default instead to the hero image. Instead, I just have to choose a hero image to go in the background instead. So not a big deal. I can just choose an image and it doesn't have to have a video. This is a great way to be able to switch over to one of the new templates that has a video background, but if you're not ready to use a video, you can feel free to use it anyway. I'm going to show you the new libraries that we have here. If I click on the hero background image. All right. We've really expanded out the new stock image libraries, and you'll start to see the libraries start to fill out with things for the holidays. So one of the requests that we had for websites was that people wanted to change them seasonally. So they wanted to give it an upgrade once a month for a new holiday or once a quarter for a new season. So we've added everything from, like this one happens to be the fall holiday season, just from fall scenes, cozy warm fireplaces, beautiful front porches, down to something more novelty like your happy Thanksgivings and your happy Halloweens. So it's really based on personality and what you want to portray in your website. Everybody's different. We also added new winter holidays. A lot of you guys use these. I couldn't believe how many we had that were using all of our new holidays. And again, it goes from the novelty, something like a hot cocoa mug, all the way up to beautiful decorated doors. You know, I'm always partial to the ones that have dogs in them, for those of you who have taken my training classes before. We've also expanded out some of the new libraries in here for all the different templates. So for example, these photos were originally used in the home and living templates, but they work beautifully in others as well. Our farm and ranch, we don't normally have as many of those. We've put a lot of new things into the luxury libraries. So I wanted you to make sure that you could always go back and you can always change out your photos. There's a lot more to choose from in here. Keep an eye out for these little buttons down here on the right-hand side. Hopefully you can see those that says show more. So I'm here in the modern architecture library, and I notice that, I'm just not seeing what I want to put on there, but I definitely want a modern photo. If I click that show more button, it's going to keep pulling out more and more photos. So just keep an eye out for that show more button. It's going to just keep expanding out that library. I happen to like this one, so I'm just going to click it and hit select image. And that's going to show on my hero background the next time I go ahead and load it up. We use this one as an example when we're doing training. So I'm actually going to show Ralston's video before I leave here. just to make sure I don't screw that up. Okay, I'm going to go back and show all those things. So keep an eye out for those expanded libraries and, of course, the new templates. So one of the things that we also added were new expanded lead pages. You guys are using these lead pages for more and more things. They've been really exciting. I'm going to go to Site Builder, Collections, and then Interior Pages. Remember, Interior Pages is anything other than the home page. So in this case, since we use Ralston's for training often, we have a lot of lead forms. We have some SEO or neighborhood landing pages. We have a new profile page. We have all sorts of things in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit that add button, and I want to show you the new lead page templates that we have. I'm going to go to that lead form. And normally we would title this something like, we just had an agent who did a Thanksgiving pie pickup. So I'm just going to label this one as pie pickup. And it's going to ask me to choose a layout. So I'm going to go to those lead pages. So the last time you guys took this training class from me, our lead pages stopped right here. And we had these connect with me, open house, things like that. Remember, all of these backgrounds can be changed. These are just for inspiration. The one thing that can't be changed, of course, are the fields, because those are set in stone right now. But I wanted you to notice the new lead pages. Check this out. Lead page 15, 16, and 17. This is the start of our custom lead page library. This is brand new for 2021. So you'll notice that there are no images in here and there's a lot of text. So this is a great opportunity for you to be able to have those lead pages that you've wanted for specific events. Some of you are doing client appreciation for 2020 events right now, even if they're virtual and you need people to sign up or send you information. We had a lot of things like that pie pickup. We had a lot of, Christmas and holiday things that the agents wanted to do. You guys had some fantastic ideas for client appreciation at the end of 2020 and going into 2021. And these custom lead pages are perfect for that. These custom lead pages are also perfect if you want to convey information. We've had a lot of requests in web support for help doing what we call squeeze pages. So things where you can put out on social media that says, download the latest buyer checklist for home moving, or a seller checklist, or a moving checklist, or the best whatevers. All of that information is available. There's a lot of things you can download, of course, in Town Central and in Marketing Resource and in the Resource Center that have things like checklists and individual things that you can get people to give up their information in order to get that file or to get that information. These work great for that because we can put in some kind of text about what they're going to get, some kind of image that goes along with it, like a couple in front of a Berkshire Hathaway home sign, a sold sign, and then, of course, a request for information. So these lead pages 15, 16, and 17 can be anything you want them to be. And we're seeing a lot of creativity here. Use them for neighborhoods, use them for events, use them for squeeze pages, use them just to request more information. These are great to share on social media, just to try to get more information from people and be able to offer something, offer that item of value and get them to give you more information back on those. So you asked for it and we delivered, and here are our custom lead pages for 2021, and we have more coming. All right. One more thing here, I've got a couple more minutes. Along with the new stock photo library and the holiday photos, all of that expanded out into the e-card system that's available through Town Central. Now, a lot of people use, of course, the e-cards through Marketing Resource, and they're absolutely beautiful, but we also have an alternative e-card and e-newsletter source right through Town Central. So if you have all of your clients already in Town Central and you want to set them up on an automatic drip campaign newsletter for 2021, we have you covered. I'm going to go up here to Marketing and to Action Plans. Remember, Action Plans is a fancy name for a drip campaign. And I want you to notice that we have added the all new 2021 monthly newsletter. And all of these are going out on the 4th right here. And the first one, of course, went out in January already. So the next one, if you leave this class today and go sign up all of your people, the next one will go out on February 4th of this year. But our real estate advisor went out on January 4th for those of you who had everybody in there. And it's just some basic newsletter information. And of course, it has your signature and information on the bottom. Now, Rosalind, this is a little bit plain just because we use this for training, but you actually can adjust the signature in your profile on Town Central to make it a little bit more dynamic if you'd like and change some of this information. All right. Notice that it is completely CAN spam compliant. We do have an unsubscribe on all of these newsletters that go out down here. Okay. So along with our new library of images for the websites, we also added additional images and additional libraries for our e-card system. So I was just in marketing and action plans. If I wanted to send out an individual email, I would go to the email, and I'm going to look at email marketing real quick. So you'll notice that we have all new images in here too. We've enhanced the library quite a bit. For those of you who might have sent out this birthday, a birthday card from last year, you'll notice that this image is different. And that's because it's all been updated for 2021. We've also made it, since we've expanded out this library and added even more e-cards for you to send out from Town Central, we've made it even easier for you to search for the type of e-card that you'd like. If you come over here on the left-hand side to stock templates, you'll notice that everything has been sorted out now by type. So if you're looking for that birthday card or that Memorial Day card, New Year card, one of my favorite, okay, I'm just going to say it, it is my favorite holiday of the year, which is St. Patrick's Day. If you're looking for a card from March, we've made it sortable now so that you can go ahead and look and change it. You'll notice that some of these are more traditional e-card style with a large photo and some text down here that you can put in, but some of them are more letter-like and newsletter-like, and we find that's a good compromise for those of you who'd like to actually just write a nice client letter, maybe a client appreciation letter, send something personal to somebody that's a little bit longer. You have a little bit of a longer option here with a real letter. But you'll be able to see all of these in here, and we're going to continue to add to these this year, but we wanted to make it nice and easy and sortable for you. So the theme for 2021 with our websites and all of the products that we are bringing on board into Town Central are definitely client focused and client central. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep in touch with your clients, and to make sure that you have all of those touch points and all the tools are worthwhile for your clients to use. So a lot of the training and marketing minutes that you'll see coming out that have to do with our new tools are going to be all about making the client as client central as possible and making it as easy as possible for you to communicate with them. So those are my new things going on with the website for now. And I'm sure you're going to see some new tools coming up soon.
Kristen, thank you so much. That was a fantastic tool set that's really been enhanced nicely for each and every one of you. Right now, it's all about listings. It's all about building your relationships and building that referral database and really just kind of driving the mass end of business towards you. And so that's what these tools, when we clean these up and really kind of make them even better, it's so that you can have what you need at your fingertips to go out and build business. If there are any questions, now is the time. Feel free to unmute yourselves or send them in the chat, either way, and we'll keep that open for just a few seconds to see here. If anyone has any questions, feel free.
I have a question.
Go for it.
The email drip campaign, is that's something that we can sign up that will automatically go out, that we don't have to do each month ourselves? Is that?
That is correct, and it's really, really easy to do. So if I, for example, I'm going to go back to those action plans. I'm going to show you a tip and trick here. Russ only has 4 people because it's our training account, but that's okay. I'm going to hit that monthly newsletter right here. And you'll notice this button right down here on the right-hand side that says add contacts and groups. You can add an individual, you can add a group, or you can add everybody at one time. I'm going to add everybody by clicking that add, and I'm going to show you a trick. Type in the word all. So we have an option in here called all contacts. And as long as your clients have a email address in Town Central, so if you put their name and, first name, last name, and email address, as long as they have an email address, we don't even need the name, it'll go out to them. I'm going to hit save, and you'll see what's going to happen here. Okay, it's added his 4 contacts because all 4 of those people in his contact list had email addresses. It's that easy. The nice thing about this is as you add people to Town Central, because you have it set as all, as long as you put an email address in, everybody who's new will also get the newsletter on that next route. So if you wanted to put in a group, like if you just put in the word buyers, it's going to put all your buyers in, or if you have a group called Sphere of Influence and you want your sphere on something in particular, as you add people to those groups and as you segment them out, they will automatically receive anything that's going to those groups. But I do like that all option. We use the all option for the newsletter. We also use the all option pretty often for the birthday action plan. As long as your client or contact has a birthday in their profile in Town Central that you've put in your contact, in your client contact, they will get a birthday card on their birthday from you. So we just set it as all for a lot of people, and as long as you have a birthday in there, it'll go. That birthday card will go out. You won't even have to think about it. So, yep.
And if I can add to that, I think, Amy, you were the one asking the question on that. And for everyone, please don't let automation stand in the way of you making personal contact with each and every one of your clients. So even though there was a birthday card sent via email, do make that phone call, even if you have to send a text or something a little bit more personal, just to make sure that you connect. And you never know what's going to come out of that one conversation that you'll have with that prospective buyer or seller, or that previous buyer or seller. Any other questions?
Yes, with that said, Wilson, if you send out the birthday card, do you get notified like the day before, or something comes to you so that you can make that phone call? Are you notified in any way, or you have to look into your CRM to see when a birth date is coming up?
Kristen?
So you don't receive anything beforehand, but there is a setting in here that you can receive all the correspondence that goes out to your client. So if you wanted to receive the birthday, if you wanted to be CC'd on that birthday card that goes out just as a reminder to, pick up the phone and give them a call as a follow-up, you can do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Good morning. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, when you were showing us the monthly newsletter and you inserted Rawson's 4 contacts, I noticed that one of the contacts had unsubscribed from that. Are we able to delete that particular contact ourselves, or does it automatically adjust to not send that newsletter out to that person once they unsubscribe or opt out?
It automatically adjusts. We would never want to necessarily delete a contact just because they didn't want to receive something automated from us. So it just shows unsubscribed. So that's part of our what we call our email insights, which is going to be a whole nother class. I think I'll put it on for February, email insights, where you can actually see, we've added something new where you can actually see where people have what's been sent, who's opened it, who's clicked it, and also who's unsubscribed. And that's part of that system. So, oops, I don't want to go to home anniversary plan. Give me 1 second. Let me go to that monthly newsletter. So what that's showing you is that you had tried to add them, and then they, of course, the unsubscribed. But this shows that these 3 people are scheduled to receive the next one.
And that unsubscribe is us compliant with CAN-SPAM. We must remain compliant with it in order to be able to continue to master it.
Where's that add all button again?
All right. So if we're on here on the monthly newsletter, and I'm going to hit this little white button here that says add contacts and groups. If I type in the word all and then select all contacts, so it's going to say all contacts here, and then hit save. It's going to add all of my contacts that have an email address in my Town Central CRM to get the monthly newsletter. If you'll give me 1 second, Ralston, I wanted to switch back to my own account real quick because I wanted you to see that in a slightly different way. I'm going to go to marketing and I'm going to go to action plans. I'm not on Ralston's account. I'm on mine, and I have a few more people on my training account than he does here. So I'm going to go to the monthly newsletter on here on my account. And I'm going to hit that white button that says add. And you'll notice that I can hit all, and it's going to bring up everybody who has ALL in their name. So of course I have the first 10 people, I have ALL. It's going to bring up a client email that has ALL. And then you'll get down here with the groups where it says all contacts. So be prepared that when you do type all, if you have an Alan in your contact list, it is going to pull his name up. This is where I was saying you could add somebody individually to something as well. And this comes in handy when you want to add somebody to an open house drip campaign where you met them in open house and you just want to basically introduce yourself and start to introduce your tools to them, or to a buyer or seller action plan. And you only want to put one person in there. But all isn't the only group you can put in there. So if you have people labeled as a group named buyer, you can always put buyers in here. You can do custom groups in here. And you can do things like sphere and things like that. I don't have anybody labeled as sphere, but I did want to show you that when you do type things, it will bring up, it will try to identify who you're trying to add, but you'll see those group names right at the bottom, and there's that all contacts for you. So in my case, it added 102. And you'll note that we have some unsubscribed here, some unsubscribed. But it's going to show you all of the ones that are scheduled on here as well.
All right, Kim Johnson, looks like you have a question.
I want to change my groups and relabel them, and I'm wondering how you do that, and then can you change everyone that was in the group to the new group name all at once?
You can. So I probably don't have enough time to do a whole group training today, but I am happy to meet with you and send you the instructions on doing the group changes and how you add those. They're actually available in the contact list. So when you're doing things with your groups, here are all the various groups that you can do. So I'm going to go to clients and then groups, and then I can create a group name in order to do this. So if I wanted to create a group called sphere of influence, you can give it a description if you want. This is just for you. Past clients and solds only. I don't know. Create group. Now that group will be available to you to put people into that group when you're going in there. Doing the group changes can be a little tedious the first time if you've had group set up, but we've added a new feature to make grouping bulk. So for example, if I wanted to add these 5 people to a group, instead of doing it one-on-one, I can do this where I've made a group, I've called it something, my sphere of influence, I can assign it to a group. And here are all my groups that I have, sphere of influence, assign those people to a group. Now, notice that those groups can be more than, you can have more than, one person can belong to more than one group. In fact, I have one of our agents who has people in like 10, 15 groups. They're in neighborhood groups, they're in past seller groups, they're in A+ referral groups, they're in, I mean, all sorts of craziness. Because that's when you start to get into segmentation, and that's really going to help your marketing. When you have your, you have your A+ clients, the people who refer to you all the time, and you want to do something special for them, you want to send them a special message, you can put those people into a group. You can put just your past clients into a group for certain things. You can put new, buyers, incubating people into a group. You can put your neighborhood into a group. You can put whoever you want to in a group, and people can belong to lots and lots and lots and lots of different buckets. It's definitely a way to make your CRM work for you by doing a lot more custom communication with people. So things like the monthly newsletter are very generic, and they're great for your whole contact list, just to make sure you have a monthly contact point. But those people that you work most closely with, or those people that you're really working hard trying to get their business, or people who, weren't able to find something in 2020, and they're really looking hard in 2021 hopefully as the listings pick up. Those people deserve a different kind of communication than necessarily something like a monthly newsletter. And it makes it easy to communicate with those people if you just keep segmenting them into different groups and different buckets, especially so you can do things in bulk. So, yep. Hopefully that answered your question, but I am happy to meet with people one-on-one over groups if you need a longer explanation, just because there's probably more to it than this. So.
All right, any other questions?
One more, Ralston. If we go back to reference the unsubscribed person, did that person unsubscribe from the newsletter, or have they unsubscribed from all electronic communications that we use?
So in this case, you would be able to contact them directly, but you would not be able to send them anything automated.
So if you sent an e-card and they had already unsubscribed, they would get that or would not get that, since
they would not get that because that's that would be an automated thing.
Okay.
So with your unsubscribes, I would highly suggest you just don't contact them unless it's somebody that you have a personal working relationship with, just to remain CAN spam compliant. And
just remember that unsubscribe is through this system. They're not aware that you have multiple systems that you can send emails from. So if someone's unsubscribed from this system, I would remove them from any other systems that you have so that you remain CAN spam compliant. All right, so it doesn't look like there are any other questions. We will end this session. What's new with our site?